Sup. Welcome back. I'm excited to talk this week about New Comic Book Day because there are a couple of books on here that I feel like I've been waiting forever to get my hands on. But before I ramble too long, don't forget to like and subscribe, comment, connect, and follow. Whatever platform you're watching this on, just look for my furry face inside of an orange circle and click the buttons next to it. So I'm gonna start with some of the books that I'm interested in, but aren't like the most exciting, and then I'm gonna save the books that have really got me excited for New Comic Book Day. I'm gonna do those at the end, so make sure you stick around. The first one I got on here is Infinite Frontier #0, and this is interesting. I believe this one is written by Joshua Williamson. He writes amazing DC comic books. He did the Flash series. He had his hand in Future State, and now he's a pretty big part of Infinite Frontier. In some ways, I feel like he's kind of an underrated writer. I feel like he's been writing amazing series, and nobody's reading them because they don't have Batman in the name. But you should be, because I mean, his Justice League stuff, great. His Flash stuff, amazing. His Future State stuff was awesome. He did Justice League Future State, and it was so cool. So yeah, just because it doesn't have Batman in the title, it can be a really good book. And if y'all would buy more of them, they might stop making only Batman. So check out Infinite Frontier. That's going to launch us into the next phase, I guess, of DC. These aren't really events. Like, Future State wasn't really an event necessarily, not in the sense of a like comic book event. But it was definitely like a phase, and so Infinite Frontier seems like it's going to be the next thing. There's some interesting concepts and ideas that are in it, and Infinite Frontier #0 is going to launch us into that. Suicide Squad #1 will be out this week. This one is interesting to me because I enjoyed the Future State Suicide Squad stuff, and this is loosely connected to that. So I don't think the Future State Suicide Squad was necessary reading in order to enjoy this new Suicide Squad. But there are some loose connections there, so I'm interested to follow it because of that. But if you are a Suicide Squad fan, there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to jump on right here with Suicide Squad #1 and get into this new team. I believe it's led by, not even going to pretend to know because I can't think of it right now. Giga #3 is going to be out this week, and I'm excited for this one. I really like the first two Giga books, and then it feels like it's been forever since they came out with one. So I'm excited to see what happens in Giga #3. I think it's a really cool world. It's a really interesting world, and there's a lot to explore and have fun with. I also really like mechs, so no reason not to be reading this book. It is a very small indie book, but it's also written by Alex. I'm going to say Alex Pakanov, and then I'm going to be completely wrong. So, but he's part of like the White Noise Collective, I believe, and they're doing some really great things. They have a lot of amazing talent. So anything by them, of course, is interesting, but Giga caught my attention, and then it really sold me with that first one, and then I enjoyed the second one. The world building is great, and there's a lot to explore in that book. Stargazer #6 will be out. This is a book that I've long promoted. I haven't actually read past, I think I'm up to #3 right now. But I really like what Stargazer is doing. It's a lot of like fun and interesting and intriguing storytelling. And it kind of relies on like an unreliable narrator type of storytelling, but that's a lot of fun because of the circumstances that make that person unreliable. So check out Stargazer. Firepower #9, I absolutely love this series. I know a lot of people have fallen off of it because they feel like I guess like the value's not there. These books, Firepower reads really quick. It's just a quick, action-packed read. But it's one of those books, like, it's on my list because I love when it comes out. It just feels refreshing. I relate to a lot of the family dynamics and drama in it, and if I read a heavy book, I like to read this because it makes me feel better. If I read a not great book, I like to read this because, again, it makes me feel better. So I really like Firepower. I've been enjoying it from the beginning. I'll be sticking around all the way to the end, but your mileage may vary. Batman 106 will be out this week, and honestly, if I didn't think we were going to talk about this on Steve's channel on the Thursday following release, I probably wouldn't even grab it. I know people are really excited for it because James Tynion is a great writer. I promote all of his other books. I think he's amazing. But it just, I don't know. It really frustrated me how awful 101 through 105 was. So we'll see if they give Tynion the reins to bring it back. But honestly, if it's anything like 105, then I'm not going to read beyond 106. Now, I have 3 books here that I am like so excited for. I've been waiting forever. And I think the first one everybody's been waiting on. This is BRZRKR #1. This is the Keanu Reeves book that got announced forever ago from Boom Studios. Matt Kent is writing it, or I guess wrote it. It hit Kickstarter. There was plenty of controversy there. So this book has gotten all the attention it needs to be a huge success. And I'm really excited to find out if the hype is real on this. I don't think Keanu Reeves is an amazing actor, but I love everything he's in, pretty much. There's something, like, he's found a niche for himself, and he's really good at that. And his movies I really enjoy, despite the fact that I just don't think he's a quality actor. So I'm excited to watch, I'm excited to read BRZRKR #1 because you bring this huge action star, a big movie star into this world. He supposedly wants to make this book, but we all know how Hollywood works. And ultimately, I'm interested to see if this really turns into a great comic book, because I do believe it will, with Matt Kent's name behind it. Matt Kent is somebody who writes like very unique, very amazing comic books, and he's somebody that loves comic books. Like, he loves the medium, he loves the style of storytelling, and so I want to believe so much that with him behind this, it is going to turn out to be something, that we as comic book fans can truly enjoy before Hollywood snatches it up and turns it into a movie, or a series, as they obviously will. And so I think I'm excited to read this story because I do like the way that Keanu Reeves is portrayed in action movies and stuff, but I'm also really interested to see if all this controversy is going to pay off, and if we're going to get a comic book, or if we're just going to get a proof of concept for a movie. Either way, I think BRZRKR #1 is probably something worth checking out, and so I will be reading it. I don't think there's going to be any value behind this book, though, because they printed like 25 million copies of it, so even if you don't want to read it, your comic shop owner might just hand you a copy because there's too many of them. The next book on my list is Swamp Thing #1, and this is being written by Ram V, who absolutely killed on the Future State books. He did Future State Catwoman, incredible. Justice League Dark blew me away, and then of course he did Future State Swamp Thing, and it was great. I had my hesitations with the first one, but the second one really brought it back around. And again, on those 3 titles alone, probably some of the best of what Future State did. Ram V wrote all 3, so there's no doubt in my mind that he's about to crush on this Swamp Thing run, and I will be grabbing #1 because I love the character, and I love the story, and I like how Ram V writes. So I will be grabbing Swamp Thing #1, plus the cover is amazing. I really like that cover. And the final one on my list is Undone by Blood, or The Other Side of Eden. And this is a continuation, season 2 sort of thing. Undone by Blood, or The Shadow of a Wanted Man, was the first book. It had this amazing character in there named Solomon Eastman. I think. Solomon something. I gotta remember now. Anyway, written by Zach Thompson and I think Larry Nadler. And they basically, Undone by Blood, Shadow of a Wanted Man was like season 1, I guess, of an anthology kind of thing. So we had two different characters in two different time periods, and they were telling this story that it didn't overlap in any way, but it's kind of the same story being told in different time periods. It's a little hard to explain, but it's really cool. It's basically a Western revenge tale that's taking place in the Wild West and in, I think it was 1973. And so Undone by Blood, or The Other Side of Eden, is this new series, I guess you could say like season 2. And this is going to continue to follow the adventures of Solomon, but we're going to have a different secondary character to that. And so I'm really interested. I absolutely loved Undone by Blood. If I understand correctly, that is in production, maybe under AMC or FX, I believe, has production rights on it. And so that is being turned into a series, as I understand it. So I'm really excited to see how that turns out on TV. But Undone by Blood is a series I love, and I've been anxiously awaiting for the return since the first series ended. And we got the little page at the end that said it will be back, and this is how we're going to handle storytelling in this. And I was like, I am in. Anything that follows Solomon is going to be on my pull list because that character is awesome. So that's pretty much what I have this week. It's a little bit shorter list than I usually have. But I also think it's a more potent list because, I mean, I've been waiting for BRZRKR, Swamp Thing, and Undone by Blood. And then, like I said, I mean, Giga number 3, I really like the first two, so I've been waiting for that one to come back. Stargazer is a great series. I'm always excited for Firepower. And then the new stuff that DC's doing, I'm interested to see how this goes. I wasn't that interested in Future State, and then it ended up being awesome. Infinite Frontier, I have a little more interest because of how well Future State went. But at the same time, I still have my hesitations with them constantly starting over and over and over again. But there's an incredible creative team. I mean, they have Joshua Williamson and Ram V are both significant parts of Infinite Frontier. Tom Taylor is doing Nightwing and I think a couple of other things. So I know how good his writing is. And there's a couple of other people on the list that just like, they have this very solid, well-rounded creative team. So I'm excited for what Infinite Frontier may possibly be. So let me know what you guys are looking forward to. This is March the 3rd of 2021. So this will be out in about 2 weeks from now. And I'm excited for it all. So let me know in the comments what books you're looking forward to and how excited you are for New Comic Book Day. Until next time, keep flipping pages.